Hi there and welcome to THEtv. My name's Hal Pedler and I'm joined by Jos Harper, who's actually a very successful sales manager in a company called Gateway Energy Services. How are you doing, Jos? You all right?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Excellent. Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. So Jos, we were talking earlier a little bit about how you got started in sales. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, so my story, my sort of intro into sales came after uni. I went to university. I went originally to do design for digital media, and I finished the course. I had plans of going into sort of digital media, that area. For me, really, sales was a bridging sort of thing, I guess, operation, because I still had plans of going into where I sort of the field that I had originally planned. But when I started with Gateway, there was something about the culture there that I really sort of resonated with me. Okay. Myself and sales we sort of clicked. And then it was quite a quick progression, to be honest, to the next step up, which was sales management. And so, it all happened in a bit of a blink, from getting into the industry to actually being in I guess you could say, a successful position. Was quite a quick transition. It didn't take too long, so that's sort of how I got where I am today.
Excellent. And it can't have been a smooth ride. So was there any times when you either doubted yourself or it really wasn't going well? And how did you overcome that, Jos?
Absolutely. There was times when I doubted myself. There was times when I doubted the industry that I was in. There was, there's always going to be, I think, with anything that anybody ever does, there's always going to be doubts. There's always going to be fears, everything like that. I think for me, what the biggest thing to get through is remembering why I'm doing it in the first place. Remembering what my motives were when I first started, what I still want to achieve. Remembering things like that when the times are tough is probably the biggest thing for me, that pulled me through.
In those dark moments.
Yeah, exactly. When, sometimes it would be maybe the industry that we work in. There's a big change and we don't know about the sort of future of how the industry is going to sort of pan out.
So what would go through your mind then? Explain to me the conversation in your mind about the doubts and then almost coming out the other side?
Well, the first thing that I think hits you is the fact that when it's something that is sort of out of your control, is the powerlessness that you seem to feel at first. Okay. That's what I remember. Almost wanting to blame everything else, essentially. Yeah. And for me, I think the sort of what I learned from being in those bad times was that actually you're more in control than you think, because when you're in a bad situation or the industry is not going well or whatever it is, it's not actually the industry that's the problem. It's your way of looking at things. Whenever anything goes wrong, if you fail, if you do this, you do that, whatever, it's always going to come back down to the way you look at it, the way you perceive it, and the action you take based on what you decide is reality.
You've always got choices, haven't you? You've always got choices,
you've always
and that's
got
what
choices.
People forget.
Yeah, exactly, and that's, I think, what it came down to in the end is that you almost want to blame your surroundings, the things around you, the events that happen. But then when you start to look at it from different perspectives, and maybe from a point of view of gratitude, I'm happy for what I do have now, even though sort of this isn't looking too good over here. But what I actually have, roof over my head, the basics, etc., etc. Looking at it from a point of that just changes your perspective and gives you a more positive outlook. That even in the worst of the worst situations for me currently, I'm still better off than a lot of people. Absolutely. And I think that's something that's really powerful.
Really strong mindset.
Yeah.
And I know from my experience in business, there's always things that go wrong. There just always is. And what happens is once you go through these things and come out the other side, and go through them and come out the other side, and go through them and come out the other side, and there seems to be a pattern. So when something comes and trips you up again, instead of thinking, oh my goodness, the world is going to end, you sort of come to a solution mindset. And instead of going through the big low, you just sort of go, okay, what do we need to do? And if that's your mindset, then straight away you're onto a new solution and a new solution and a new solution. And again, you come through the other side. So really for me, it's the experience of going through things. it isn't a problem anymore. You know they're going to come. You're almost expecting something, and you just overcome it through your experience. So just as a last question, so what advice would you give to young people who are wanting to get into your industry, either something in sales or management or anywhere in that area? What would you say?
The biggest things really have been passion and perseverance. Okay, so that's what the advice that I would give to a young person. Do something that you're passionate about, or find a way to make what you do something that you're passionate about. Think about where it's leading you, what you're going to get from the end of it.
You're going to get from it.
Exactly,
yeah.
And that's pretty much it. With if you've got that passion and you persevere and you keep going, then that's really my advice. Anybody could
motivated.
Well, yeah.
Well, Jos, great advice as always. I want to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you very much. And for the viewers at home, don't forget to leave your comments below. And of course, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon.